Hello everyone, it's Jeff again. Hopefully with a better sounding voice than yesterday. Uh, I made my vinyl tag video yesterday and it ended up being almost a half hour long. And for the rest of the day my voice was pretty much shot, so this is not going to be as long of a video, so never fear. Thank you for all the wonderful comments I got on that video yesterday. Speaker, you're a dude. Thank you for your comments. We are almost like musical twins, I think. Chris, dude 1973. You're a dude too, from 1973. Ha 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 ha. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for your nice comments. Final Victim's niece. It's always good to hear from you too. So, if you haven't watched my vinyl tag video, what are you waiting for? My top 100 list is going to have to wait until next week. I just don't have the time or, like I said, the voice to devote 20 or 30 minutes to talking about my my list. So I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to have to skip a week and pick that up next week. What I've got now are proof that I do actually listen to music, and I do actually listen to the music that I buy. I haven't done that in a while, so I have a stack of records that I'd just like to show and talk about for a few minutes. Some of them you've seen before, some not. Some have been recent new acquisitions, and some have pulls from the stack. So that being said, my first one up, which I showed recently, listen to Dusty in Memphis. I got this in a trade from Brendan, my friend Morrissey, and it said on the cover, Dusty Springfield's first recording with the Memphis sound. The record itself wasn't fine. It was in good shape. It played great. No problems there. Musically, not to be mean, I didn't notice a great difference with her being with the Memphis sound, using the Memphis sound, as I thought I would. I mean, Son of a Preacher Man has that little bit of a grit to it, but there weren't that many other tracks on here that I really thought, wow, she's like stretching her horizons a little bit. Not that she was going to turn into this, bluesy belter. That's not her style, but I liked it. It's a good record. I'm glad I have it. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it would be a little different, say, than because I've got her greatest hits album. And a few tracks aside, this isn't really that different from her normal sound. So, like I said, good record. Glad to own it. But, it's like her big album, I guess, that everyone talks about. So, I found out for myself, and it sounds like I'm damning it with faint praise. I don't mean to. It's great. I love her voice. She's one of my favorite female singers. It just, I wanted her to get a little more down and dirty, This one I showed recently. I picked this up right around Christmas time. It's a Butterfield Blues Band, East West. I used to have this on CD, and I spun it, and it's a great album front to back. I mean, this was their second album. They're really firing on all cylinders, and I think this would be the perfect album to discover this band with. East West. Every track is out of this world. So I know I talk a lot about these guys, so I'm not really gonna spend too much more hyperbole on them. I just like them. Speaking of another guy that I just like, Lonnie Mack, the Wham of that Memphis Man. I know I picked this up. I think I showed this under my new acquisitions a couple months ago. This is a UK reissue. of the original 1963 album. And some tracks are instrumental, some aren't, but it's got that early 60s sound. It's like, how can I describe it? It's proto blues rock, I guess. You know, Lonnie Mack just lays down the riff, and a lot of these are ballads. There's a couple more up-tempo songs, but this is a great album. Lonnie Mack, the Wham of that Memphis Man. And you can't go wrong whenever you put on some Jimi Hendrix, right? Right. This is his Isle of Wight concert. And it's only 6 tracks, but he does play. I've never heard him play All Along the Watchtower live, so that was kind of cool. He does a lot of talking in between songs. It's really kind of interesting listening to Jimmy rap to the audience. You know, back when rapping didn't mean rapping. It just meant talking. The back cover is really just blank. There's really nothing here. I'm catching up on my Hendrix, like I said, and I think I have only 1 or 2 more. I think they're both live albums too. But this is always good to play in the morning when the family and the kids are gone, and just crank it up. You can't go wrong with Jimi Hendrix, can you? I don't think you can. This next one is going to be interesting. I played Universal Consciousness by Alice Coltrane. Well, let's see. Here's the back cover. I'll show you the back cover. It's a gatefold. I'll show you the gatefold here. Lots of writing, lots of liner notes. It's an original Impulse label record. You can see it's upside down. There you go. You know the knock that jazz music, or especially like free jazz music, gets, where it people say it sounds like, you know, every band member is playing their own song at the same time. That's what this sounds like. Especially the title track. And that's the lead-off track on the album too. I put it on, and I couldn't really pin down a beat anywhere. I couldn't really find a melody anywhere. The drummer was drumming. The bass player was bass playing. The keyboardist was keyboarding. I think she plays harp. I think she was playing harp, and she was making these runs on the harp. Yeah. I can't say it's total crap, because it's not. But I can't say, wow, this is really mind-blowing either. Some of the tracks, especially on side 2, like especially the last song on side 2, the Ankh of Amun-Ra, you did get the feeling that she was trying to make this kind of spiritual, celestial reach. Like she was trying, you could feel that she was trying to uplift you with the music. I mean, it wasn't all just noise. The title track is pretty much just noise, but it got better. I bought this album many, many months ago when I thought I was going to really dive into jazz, and I did to a certain degree. But it's okay, but it's really not that good. I hate to say it. I don't like to come onto these videos and knock records, really, but I just don't get it. Sorry. I know some of you guys out there are into this stuff or into the free jazz, and great for you. I mean, you guys are operating on a different level than me, perhaps. But listening to this, all I wanted to do, I wanted to go back in time, to go back to that session and just smack them around a little bit and say, just play a beat. Find a beat, play around it, and make a song. There's not a lot of that on that record. So, yeah, it's one of the firsts for me. I usually like to be, like I said, positive. I usually like to be positive on these things. But I'm not talking whole lot about it. I know. That's why I'm just going to kind of move on. Ray Thomas died recently. He was a founding member of the Moody Blues. So in his honor, I spun Days of Future Past. This is a fantastic album. I mean, it follows through on the concept of, the period of time of a whole day, and especially side 2. It starts off with Tuesday afternoon, and it ends with Nights in White Satin. So I like the Moody Blues, or at least their first 5 albums. That's kind of where they made their bones. Their first 5. From this one was their first, well, not their actual first, it was their first one with the classic lineup, with Justin Hayward as the lead singer. But from here through Seventh Sojourn, it's usually their acknowledged period of great material. So in honor of Ray Thomas, he was their multi-instrumentalist. He played like the flute and other instruments on their records, and he sang. I spun Days of Future Past, which is a classic. And finally, I went a little further in that prog direction, if you consider the Moody Blues prog, which I guess you could in some regard. But I went way off the deep end and played Tales from Topographic Oceans by Yes. This is, well, this cover is one. The back doesn't really have anything on it. It's all just one big cover. And then on this side, the gatefold, you've got all this. Basically, this is a double album, and each side is just one song or one suite of songs. So, trying to explain what this sounds like is, if you don't know Yes, it'd probably be a little difficult. I think this came out after Close to the Edge. I don't know the exact chronology, but if I can use that album as a metaphor, they went off the edge when they made this album. And I'm not really knocking it. I liked it. I listened to this just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it's good. I'm a Yes fan. I can't lie. I'm not really knocking them, but I kind of lost my place after a while listening to this. I listened to the whole thing straight through. So I guess you really have to pay attention a little bit more. I was doing things in the kitchen while I had this on, so maybe I just needed to devote my full attention to it. But it was good, but not something that I'll probably be spinning very often, at least among Yes albums. And that's it. This is going to be a shorter video, like I said. We're just over 14 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here while I still have half a voice left. Thank you, everyone, for liking and commenting and subscribing. I'm always welcoming new subscribers. And yeah, the top 100 will pick up again next week. And till then, peace. Everybody have a good weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.